So, hi everyone, and thank you so much. Hi, Sharita and Mariam. So, suppose there's like six, I think, of us joining in the fireside chat, and I totally understand that the difference of the time zone that we have. I hope you can hear me clearly from your side. Yeah.
Yes, Miss, you're audible po.
Yes,
Okay.
hi Estella. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yep, I can. So
Yeah,
finally
good.
we've met.
Yes, I am actually Michelle. I don't know why I am under Mariam's link, so she's having trouble logging in.
Oh
So,
no.
and
All right.
also our entire panel thought we were going on 15 minutes later. We thought we were
Oh,
going on at the hour. So you have us going on at like quarter of 10 of, but we are more than happy to just start and do this. And Sharita, it's nice to see you. I vote we just do this, and the others will join in about 10 minutes.
okay. Yeah, I hope like Mariam would be able to join us. All right. So anyway, our topic for today for this fireside chat, just like chilling, and I would just like to know like about you guys as like women in tech and women in businesses. And I think first we can have like an introduction. I know that there's a lot, I mean a very long introduction for everyone earlier, but I also want to hear, and I think the guest, I mean our attendants was also want to hear like your story, what is your businesses is about, like what you're currently doing. I think Sharita can go on first.
Okay,
Yes, go ahead.
so for me, I'm Sharita Humphrey. Like they mentioned earlier, I help minority small businesses really be able to help grow and scale, because a lot of time there's a lot of lack of financial education. Really knowing how to be able to start and grow their businesses, and to really understand that the infrastructure on being able to create a business, because we have a passion to create a business, but a lot of times we've jumped out of there, followed our passion, but we don't have a blueprint to allow us to really be outside of our business plan. We don't really have a blueprint to really understand when it's time to make those shifts, really understand if it's a time to pivot. And so for me, that's where I work with small businesses, but to make sure that they understand that they need an infrastructure to be able to make impact, which will ultimately create income in their businesses.
Okay, wow. Yeah, talking about impact, I think I've already discussed it to a lot of people as well. Like, why are you doing things and what impacts are you actually going for? And I think the impact and contribution are actually like what matters to whatever you're doing. And yeah, I think Michelle Zaffino is back, right? Because I also want to hear like, okay, Michelle. So what's up? What's it happening? And like what you're currently doing? What keeps you busy the moment?
Yes, of course. I am the CEO of a book discovery product that uses ML and AI to give more diverse, unbiased picks. I'm an information scientist who returned to code as my second career, and we built the early version of the product. And now I do product, and I'm the digital librarian for the initiative. But would you like me to talk about my early networking efforts, before the pandemic? Because I wanted to talk to you about women who code, and
Oh yeah. Okay.
about,
That's a
are
very
you
big
familiar? And here comes
yes.
Mariam, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we would love to hear your journey for about networking before like pandemic. That would be very interesting.
Sure. Well, what I learned when I decided to learn to code, I started going to women who code meetups and other meetups. I, would go to, the Google events in San Francisco where I'm based. And I wanted to know which language to learn. So I went to a bunch of different women who code meetups to, finally land on learning JavaScript. Hey, Mariam, nice to see you.
I got it.
Great. So I'm just talking a little bit about how I was networking with women who code meetups, and I would go to the HTML5 meetup at Google San Francisco. And this, in many, many other kinds of meetups, I feel that kind of in-person networking was really, really important, because you would go and you would find people to talk to in a more casual setting. A lot of these had, speakers, and they would have, pizza, and it was like really relaxed. And you would all just sit down and watch the speaker, and you'd like have a little social hour, before and after. So it was a low pressure way to meet a lot of people. But then of course, with the pandemic, all of these orgs went online, and I loved that too. I loved the Zoom meetups. And I feel that when we started We Transact during the pandemic, we had a weekly meeting every Thursday night. We kind of like thought it was a happy hour, and it was on Zoom, and it really got me through the early days of the pandemic. Just know I was going to see my group every week at Thursday night. So I have plenty more to say about working remotely, but I'll let everybody else talk, and then we'll come back to that.
Yeah, I actually want to have raise a question, but first things first. Hi, Mariam. Finally, you got in the Zoom room.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't know.
So
it was a unique link.
Yeah,
and I couldn't get in. Then afterwards, said I was already logged in.
Yep. All right. So we're just talking about like the introduction to what they're actually like keeping them busy, and like talk about more on your like businesses, your company, or tech, whatever you are currently doing right now. So yeah, Miriam, like tell us about what keeps you busy these days.
Wow, what keeps me busy? The climate. My startup is focused on climate tech, and we have a big issue about that right now. As you know, it's in all the news channels and such. And so I have been spending a lot of time in South Asia, in particular in Bangladesh, which is not too far from the Philippines. And we are focused on climate tech to try to do something about the plastic pollution problem. So basically, as you know, most products are made with petroleum-based plastic, and especially single-use plastic is a huge issue. So we are working to solve that with plants. So we use certain plant fibers in order to make these products, so that they, are biodegradable and bio-based, better for the environment and things like that. So I've been very busy with my startup. We have a very nice little team, and I have a group of scientists who work with us, and we have this team going all through the pandemic. We have worked very hard. We didn't let it stop us. And now we are off to get some investments so we can manufacture and commercialize these products on a larger scale, because we need this, the earth needs this, and we have customers who are waiting. So that's my thing right now.
Okay, wow. I feel feeling guilty with the use of plastics. All right, I think I'm gonna have to tone that down. All right. So
yes, you need alternatives, and I understand people need plastic. We're not saying all plastic is bad, but we are here to try to help to provide alternatives, and that will make the situation better for our oceans and our animals and land. And human beings are consuming microplastics, so that's like another issue as well.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is very informative. They got there. But anyway, I actually want to go through to Sharita. Okay, am I pronouncing your name correctly? So yeah, I've actually like read about your short bio and what you just said earlier about creating and managing your like growing your businesses, your business consulting, right? So can you tell us about like how did you start with your consulting businesses, and like how were you able to, just for the namesake of the Fireside Chat, like we're able to network yourself in becoming like having this Sharita Humphrey consulting?
So for me, I'm a former government. I used to work for the state government here in the US. And one of the things that I thought that was my career choice. For me, I always wanted to work in the government sector. So I just becoming an auditor and analyst, that was always like a big dream of mine. I secured my dream job after losing everything financially, because before then I went through a period in my life where I was homeless with two small children. And so for me, one of my bucket list job was to come and apply and work for the government. I did that. And that was the thing that really shifted my life and gave me a foundation to be able to really get into a path where I was in control of my financial destiny. And with that, I thought that once I secured my job, I was there for a while, but something was just tugging at me as I started to see so many small businesses struggling, especially minority businesses, and especially those who were startups, who were women, just trying to figure out how do we maneuver through all of the things that come with being an entrepreneur. So I left my government job despite all of the things that had happened to me in my past, and probably against even my supervisor and coworkers. They were like, "You're so young, you're leaving your job to just go out there in the entrepreneur abyss with no one who had went before me. I'm the first entrepreneur in my family." So this was like a pivotal moment. And so my mom always told me I was a rebel, but for me, I kind of just changed that and said, no, I'm a trailblazer. I'm going to show other women and minorities that you can create the life that you want, but you need to be able to immerse yourself in it. How would I ever know that I could do this if I never took the leap? Yes, I had a comfortable position and a good government job, but at the same time, I wasn't living the life that I knew. I knew something was inside of me, that I was supposed to be doing something else with my life. I was supposed to use my story and in this journey to be able to create something bigger than me. I just had no idea what it was. So when I got the government position and just started to see so many small businesses just really needing someone to be able to just show them and consult with them on a path, I left my job. I started this business, and it didn't take, and because I was already doing things while I was still employed, networking after work, going to certain things during my lunch break, really utilizing those things that really was going to help me, and building and making sure that I had some mentors, like they mentioned here, making sure that there was others who had went before me that could help guide me, was the thing that really helped to start this. It wasn't easy, I'm going to say that, but it wasn't as difficult, as scary as I thought.
Wow, that was a really very challenging for me. I think like your career, like the career change, and we all know how secure it is being in the government position, right? Like all the security that is needed. But I think jumping off with a different path and doing what we really love is something that um amazes me. Like there is women exist, and it's very inspiring as well, like as women, like we can do whatever we want, despite the fact that all the gender gender discrimination that we're also like experiencing. I think not all people experience those, not all people can relate, but for me it does exist. Like the issue does exist, and there will be a lot of people also doubts you throughout your journey, right? So that's really inspiring, Sharita. So anyway, like, do you have anything in mind, like Michelle or Mariam, about like this career change and networking yourself to becoming someone you wanted to be, like craving something bigger than you already have right now?
Yeah, sure. Should I go?
Yeah,
Go
yeah,
ahead,
of course.
Mariam. Sure.
Okay. Well, I've changed my career many times and not been afraid. People say, oh, your resume is going to look a mess. You know, you've done this, you've done that. But it doesn't bother me, because I think that's what this journey of life is all about learning new things, about meeting new people. And, you have to keep on the path. I mean, I started out with psychology and education. I got into web development. Then I got into semiconductor, then telecom. And where I feel the most comfortable now for just over 10 years is in the renewable space. I had a solar energy startup. And after that, I have now for the past just over 2 years been focused on climate tech. And this startup is another one. But I think for the most part, networking was what helped me the most. And, you know, you basically keep making connections and you reach out to people because you first find a topic that either you know something about or you know nothing about. It could be either way. And you reach out to people to say, hey, I'm interested in what you're working on. I'm interested in the space that you're in. And for me, I guess networking, whether it is Twitter or especially LinkedIn, which is a business network, has been extremely useful. And especially to try to see. And I always believe in one main thing, that is that like you could connect from A to B and maybe B can't help you, but then B no C, D, E, F, it goes on. So that's the way that networking is something which is very positive, because if someone directly cannot assist you, there will be others within that circle. Michelle, please.
Yeah, so yeah, I like what you said about networking on social platforms. Every time I met somebody in person or online, I would always follow up by linking in with them, Facebooking, Instagram, Twitter. I would just see where they were, and all like just consistently doing it pretty much after I would meet each person, because you never know. And it's, I don't know, I just love meeting all these interesting people. But what I wanted to talk about was the fact that I really think as an entrepreneur, you need to be a self-starter. And I was solving the problem that I had for book discovery because I am an author. So I've written 6 books and they're for teenagers. But I belong to a community that is a co-living community. It's a worldwide global network of houses, and it's mostly entrepreneurs, and the company is a startup itself. And I feel that co-living is a great way to network. All these people that I meet, like when I go to, let's say, the Los Cabos house in Mexico, I meet new entrepreneurs. And then, you know, I come back to San Francisco and I stay in the co-living house here and I meet a bunch of different entrepreneurs. And oftentimes the company will have cool like networking and panel events for us to attend. So there's all different kinds of networking communities. So just, you know, seek out the ones that resonate with you. So take it away, Sharita.
Yeah, Sharita, if you have anything to add.
I have to say that too. I believe in ecosystem building. It's so key. I love I wouldn't be in such a great place personally, or even in my business, if I wasn't thinking about ecosystem. I love networking, but it's something about when you can truly be an ecosystem builder, to really be able to not only be poured into, but also be able to be a resource. So that's why I'm a huge advocate of ecosystem building, and really being able to understand how your network is truly the strength of your business. It really helps you to align things that you are wanting to do. Sometimes we're working so hard, but networking could really help you to be able to open up doors that may have been closed to you. So sometimes there's someone who has went before you. I love that cliche, success leaves clues. And your ecosystem offers clues as well. They can really be able to pour some things into you, share those business ideas, because sometimes your friends and your family, your vision or your dreams may seem too big for them, because they're in a position, it's not that they don't want to support you. It's just that they may not have that trailblazer in them. Like Michelle and Mariam just mentioned, I love what both of you have shared. It takes a self-starter. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody. And the thing is, that's okay. But for us entrepreneurs who love what we do, we're up at 1, 2 a.m. Just to be able to be here, because this is important to us. When you have a passion, time doesn't matter. You want to be able to be here and connect with you. Just being able to listen to all of the things and the keynote. We are a now I have friends in the Philippines. So when I get ready to travel there, I can reach out. I have some friends now, in in San Francisco, being able to now connect with Mariam on LinkedIn. Look how much our ecosystem is expanding just by showing up here and just networking and sharing each other's stories and resources and offering some tips and tools that's helped us. So I love this conversation.
All right. So let me remind our attendees that we will have like a 10-minute Q&A session. So if you have any other like questions later on, you can definitely prepare that and then send it out in the chat. All right. So yeah, that was really informative that you've just shared it now. And actually, someone asked me, how did I get connected with you guys? Like, I'm here in the Philippines, and I'm actually not the kind of person who connects with, people I don't know, like maybe online. And I'm very, like, very rare for me to connect with people I don't know personally. So I was asked, and I met Alexis. This is just a story where during our Women Tech Makers Ambassador Global Call. So Alexis was like very jolly, and they're like, "Hey, you have a DevFest, and you want to have a talk?" And I was like, "Yeah, you can have a fireside chat with us." And then she sent an email with you guys in there, and I was like, wow. And I was checking, stalking stalking you, and I was like, okay, who are these women that Alexis are just actually sending me? I was checking on it, and I found like, oh, this is a CEO, a founder, someone who is um in the like someone in the about climate change related stuff. And it was so awesome, like how we get together, and I was able to talk to you though virtually, and hoping I'm gonna meet you in person. It's just so interesting how networking through social media works. And this is like, here we are now in the Philippines, virtually, having this chat. And actually, I don't have any script right now with the questions, so I'm just going through, because supposedly Alexis was moderating this, right? And I hope she gets in the chat later on. But speaking of networking, I remember earlier I had a question with Michelle that she mentioned that about enjoying the virtual setup and just loving the Zoom. And then before that, you were in the like an office setup, Michelle. Is that right? So like when you went through the transition from an office setup to virtual setup, like what changed? Like the way you live right now, your routine. I bet there would be a lot of changes, right? Can you share something about that?
Well, actually, my team was always remote. So like my startup, one of the ways we cut startup costs was that we were always remote, so we didn't have to pay for office space. So we started in 2016, but incorporated in 2018. And so this was just a few years pre-pandemic. So we were already remote. So work-wise, we were set up and ready to go. We started a virtual book club, a subscription-based book club. But as far as the virtual events, I was just really excited to use Zoom more and just to be online more. I was already used to it. So it was frictionless for me to do. But I will say that whether or not you do it in person or online, I feel that just be persistent in reaching out. Sure, you might feel a little bit hesitant or uncomfortable at first, but I just feel like just reach out even to people you do not know. I think it's just fine to send an email or, link in with somebody and just say, hey, I was on the call with you at Google DevFest, me and like 100 other people, but I like what you said and I want to connect. And most of the time people will. So just try again, until you feel comfortable doing it. I don't know, I have more to say, but I'll let someone else take the floor.
Okay, maybe Mariam can share something.
Yeah, so basically when this whole pandemic hit, COVID hit, I was in the US, And then I rushed to Bangladesh because interestingly, I have family there, and believe it or not, I thought the world was going to end. And I said, if the world's going to end, I want to be close to my family. I don't care. And so I kind of rushed back over there. I was on the last flight. All airlines had stopped after that. And it was very difficult just sitting at home, working virtually, because I had gotten so used to going to meetings, even though, you know, we didn't really have any fancy office, but still the social interaction, the human interaction, I think that is something that is important. And as an entrepreneur, I think we in general are very social people. And so we like to network with people. We like to go find people and see, you know, share our ideas, find new ideas, see how we can partner or collaborate. And so then suddenly now you're on this, you know, screen. And I had used Zoom, I think, just twice before the whole pandemic hit. And so it was something very new for me. I was not used to it. And I was always like, no, we got to meet for a cup of coffee. We got to talk this out face to face. So you had to basically adjust. Now we have adjusted, but yet we're still looking for something better where we can get back to interacting with people. And I'm here now in San Francisco, in the Bay Area, where once again, we can celebrate Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's by meeting our friends and family and going out. So, you know, that didn't happen for the last, you know, year and a half or so. So.
Okay, right.
Yes, I just want to, you know, address one of the questions in the chat. I feel like now, you know, there will probably be in-person events and online events. And I think there's going to be in-person work and remote work. I think it's going to be a good combination and hopefully what works best for people's lifestyle in the type of business and type of event. So I feel like I feel happy that there's going to be a lot more flexibility. You know, working moms will have much more flexibility. So that's cool. I don't know, Sharita, can you speak to that? Like being a mom?
Yes, I'd have to definitely say that I'm a mom, you know, now I have a little one. So I'm a mom boy, I'm a boy mom. And so just being able, like Michelle mentioned, I don't know what it was. I just said that I wanted to be able to expand my network. And of course I can do a lot of and I was doing a lot of in-person events, a lot of in-person speaking, but even right before the pandemic hit, I was already kind of making that shift to be able to work remotely because of course I had been thinking about homeschooling and I was just like, how was I going to do that and still be able to be traveling and speaking? So being able to now kind of just get my team to kind of shift, we were doing that in small stages before the pandemic. So it wasn't like we were trying to kind of scramble to kind of make that shift, because I know that was very difficult for a lot of entrepreneurs, especially for those who were more in person and had not had a stronger online presence or who was not using social media to really be able to help them expand their network. So for us, we were definitely making the shift. And so I love this, like Michelle mentioned, this hybrid method that we're both experiencing. So for working entrepreneurs and mothers and people who want to be with their families, they still have that opportunity to be able to do it remotely. But like Mariam mentioned, we still need that human interaction. You can't replace that online. It's great, but there's something, the magic happens in person, like Mariam mentioned.
Well said.
I definitely agree. It does. I mean, a lot of times it's very social, the way the deals get done.